Okay. Hello. Are troublesome planets better, weaker, and in chart or strong? Mercury for Aries ascendant. Okay. Uh, it means if Dushtana houses, lords, or malefic planets should be weaker in chart or not. As I understand, every planet should be strong, ideally. Okay, ideally, every planet should be strong because every planet represent many things. So, your sixth lord, Mercury, is not only your sixth lord, it also rules your third house. It also represents your siblings. It also represents your decision making skill. It also represents your communication, business. So if you are looking for Mercury which is weak just because it is sixth lord, you basically want all these things to be weak. Okay, that is the first thing. Like let's take this example. I am a Scorpio ascendant person. Mars is the first lord and the sixth lord. So if I want Mars to be weak, I'm actually looking for every signification of Mars to go weak in my life. It may represent real estate. It may represent my willpower, courage. So this is what I feel, that basically every planet should be strong. Best example to understand this thing is the chart of this Helen Keller. Okay, it is on website. You can check it. Helen Keller had Saturn debilitated in the sixth house, and then sixth lord was also debilitated. So you cannot find a weaker sixth house. So if we go by this logic that weak sixth house or sixth house lord are better, then at least she should not have any health issue, but her whole life was dealing with her health issues. So this is where I feel that every planet should be strong. Okay, no matter if it is your sixth lord, eighth lord, 12th lord, it is your Maraka lord, if it is the most malefic planet Saturn, every planet ideally should be strong. Okay, what will be the impact of retro Saturn when Saturn is already debilitated in and retro in Gemini ascendant? Okay, Saturn is always challenging. It doesn't matter with Saturn if it is debilitated or exalted. It is better to have Saturn exalted, but even there it is not like a very benefic Saturn, we can never use the word benefic with Saturn. Okay, so there will be one or the other issue with every Saturn in any house, in any sign. So Saturn is all about challenges. Then it is retrograde. Retrograde means planet is closer to Earth. Anything that is closer to you will have more impact. Its rays are reaching with more intensity. As I always say that if someone is just standing nearby me, I will be impacted by that person's energy sooner or later. So a planet which is retrograde has more intensity, its rays are reaching you with more impact. So it shows that Saturn is debilitated and retrograde in this question, and then it is also retrograde in the birth chart or the transit also. So its rays are impacting you more. So this person needs to be more careful about Saturn related things, especially the health issues. In case you are asking about that theory, that a retrograde planet, a debilitated planet, if goes retrograde, then it works like exalted planet. I don't buy that theory. A debilitated planet will remain debilitated. Either ways, either direct or retrograde, and an exalted planet will remain an exalted planet, either ways, either direct or retrograde. So I don't buy that philosophy that a planet which is debilitated, if it is retrograde, then it becomes exalted. Nothing like that. Just that we reflect back upon the things related with that house or that planet, and we have to work harder in retrograde planets. Okay, and results will come once you are in your 30s. After that, planet starts giving better results. Retrograde Saturn in transit, again, retrograde Saturn in transit would mean okay. So first of all, it depends on which ascendant it is. Aries ascendant, Saturn is 10th and 11th lord. For Scorpions, it is 3rd and 4th lord. So for every ascendant, Saturn is ruling different houses and representing different things. Generically, Saturn represents your duty and responsibility in life. It also represents your karma, your illnesses, misery, especially illnesses related with body ache, joint ache, bone related, teeth related, any chronic nature of disease. Now when it is retrograde, okay, so again retrograde is coming closer to Earth, so it has more intensity. It will make you work harder on things related with Saturn in your chart, either karaka wise or as per the house ruler. Then it also means that the thing like this it will make you reflect back upon your duty and responsibility in this life. Okay, well, whatever you are doing in your life, if it is retrograde, you may be questioning that if I am following my right duty and responsibility in this life when Saturn is going retrograde. It is Gemini ascendant, so it is 8th and 9th lord. So expect, and it is going retrograde in the 8th house only. So expect some major changes in life during this Saturn retrograde transit, especially when Jupiter also joins. Okay, this has been a difficult transit for Gemini ascendant people since 2020. So that is the thing. But also expect higher education in the research occult field, It also means that your belief system can go through a major change when Saturn is in the 8th house, and it is also going retrograde. So you may question your belief system, you may question your teachers, your gurus in this time period, because 9th house represents the same thing. I mean to say, retrograde Saturn in transit will impact more when already Saturn is retrograde in chart. We can say so because that retrograde energy is already there in the birth chart, and now in transit also it is retrograde. So we can say so that person will feel more intensity, but it also depends on the person's age. Okay, understand what I am trying to say? That like I have retrograde Saturn in my chart. Now I am at that age, I've lived that much of life that I am used to that Saturn's energy. Okay, so it doesn't matter now. Okay, wherever it is going a direct retrograde, I am used to that energy. If a person is in like teenage or early 20s, then he will feel more intensity. But if a person is like in later age, then fine, he is used to that much of energy. Okay, so that is the thing. I hope it helped you. Pranam sir, pranam madam. What is the impact of transit Ketu going over natal Saturn in Anuradha, 26th May lunar eclipse? Saturn Mahadasha and Sadesati ongoing. Thank you. Great. So first thing is that Ketu going over Saturn in Anuradha is Scorpio. Okay, so this Saturn itself like represents limitations, restrictions, frustration. Now Ketu is also going over it. Ketu represents separation. So none of them is a provider. First thing you need to understand, neither Saturn nor Ketu is providing you anything. Okay, so wherever Scorpio falls into your chart, suppose you are a Virgo ascendant person and then Scorpio falls into your third house Scorpio, then third house related results are almost gone during this time period. Okay, your relationship with your younger sibling, your neighbors, your communication, there can be lots of issues there in the house where Scorpio falls. Okay, because Saturn is already there in your birth chart, and then Ketu is transiting over it. Ketu Saturn, it is like almost no result in that house where Scorpio falls. At the same time, it can be a good transit for your spiritual pursuits, for your education in research oriented education, or education in occult spiritual field. It can give you good results related with that. When it comes to like work, Saturn is your duty and responsibility. Ketu can make you feel separated. It can make you feel lazy about it. Okay, so this is the thing. Now lunar eclipse is related with moon. Moon is emotions, and it is debilitated in Scorpio, and then it is with Saturn and Ketu, two strong malefics. Saturn in birth chart and Ketu is in a transit. So what it means is that this person may feel lots of emotional setbacks. He or she may go through lots of emotional setbacks in this time period during this lunar eclipse time. Maybe they may feel that no one understood them emotionally, or they may have some sort of panic attacks, stress, anxiety, all the moon related things. Again, you can utilize the same energy in a better way by meditation. Okay, moon in Scorpio with Ketu, lunar eclipse is the ideal time to meditate, so that you may avoid having these emotional issues or setbacks or panic attacks, and you can utilize the same energy in your meditation, in your spiritual evolution. So it's your wish. at the end. Saturn Mahadasha and Sadasati is ongoing. That means you are completely under the impact of Saturn right now. So this time period, Saturn Mahadasha and Sadasati plus Ketu transiting over Saturn can bring some major changes in your overall life. Okay, and as I always say, be receptive towards the change. Okay, you can have problems only when you are resisting the change. Change itself doesn't bring stress. Resistance to change brings stress. So rather than resisting the change, be receptive towards the change. You will be fine. Okay. Rahu in first house, Jyeshtha, Scorpio, fine. Mercury in Pushya in 9th house, fine. And then Moon in 11th house. So I have this obsession of learning foreign language, French. I am trying to learn from long time. Will I be able to achieve it? It looks like Moon rules your 9th house and sits into the 11th house. 11th house is rewards and recognition. 9th house is your higher education. 9th house also represents different languages, because 9th house represents different ethnicity, different cultures. So 9th house is also house related with linguistics. So it shows that your higher education of 9th house related things can bring some rewards, recognitions or achievements for you. So this can work out for you. Okay. Okay. For Cancer ascendant, Venus in first house, Moon conjunct 3rd and 12th Lord Mercury in 3rd house, 5th Lord Mars in 9th house, 9th Lord Jupiter in 11th house. Okay, but 7th Lord Saturn in the 8th house. Rahu Dasha and Rahu is in 8th house in a Scorpio sign. How will Rahu Guru Dasha be for the native? Rahu is in the 8th house and Jupiter is in rules your 6th and 9th, and Jupiter is in 11th house. That means it is in Taurus sign. Okay. Financially it can be good. Okay, especially if you are in business set of work, it can be okay. Saturn is in the 6th house. Then this okay, so financially it can be good because Jupiter is in 11th house Taurus. Taurus is the sign of wealth. 11th house is the house of income gains. Sorry. So and Jupiter always gives better results when we are doing any work related with Jupiter. For you, Jupiter is 6th Lord, 9th Lord. 6th house is your daily work life. 9th house is your sharing of knowledge, guidance and counseling. Jupiter sits into the 11th house, so it shows that your gains are coming when you are guiding people, counseling people. Okay, then you may get better results in this Jupiter Dasha. Also in spiritual matters, it can create this Guru Chandal Yoga in Dasha. It is not in the chart, but in Dasha at least, because Rahu and Jupiter both are active together. So during this Dasha you can have some unusual, weird ways of looking at things, especially religion and especially religion, philosophy and literature. So that is the importance, like the Guru Chandal Yoga makes us question about all the religion, philosophy, literature kind of thing. They have very different views. So this Rahu Jupiter Dasha can make you like having some different, unusual, maybe unconventional and weird views on religion, philosophy, literature. It can be good for your spiritual growth, or for having this unconventional belief system. Scorpio ascendant, Venus Ketu in the 7th house, Jupiter in the 11th house. Jupiter Venus period is starting in 1 month. How will this period be? Again, Venus is in your 7th house. So any planet gives the results when we are engaging ourselves into that planet related thing and house related thing. Venus represents creativity. Venus also represents finance, wealth and all. And 7th house is other people, masses. So Venus is also serving other people. So if you are providing services to other people through your business, of your creative nature or creative interest or any other Venus related work, then this dasha can be good, financially and all, and you can gain a lot. But if you are not doing anything related with that, then it will be an average dasha. Okay. In relationship matters, a tug of war will continue when Venus Ketu are together. Venus is relationship, Ketu is separation. Whenever this person is in a relationship, they feel their single life was better. Whenever this person is single, he is again looking for a relationship. So this tug of war will continue. Thus, does 12th house really mean setbacks and loss of luck? What if benefics are in this house? Rather than setbacks or loss of luck, I will just say that planet 12th house is the house of losses of any kind. Okay. Even spirituality is lost. If you are in meditation, if you are really in meditation, you are in trance state when you lose yourself. Whenever you are putting your efforts in something, you are losing your energy. 12th house also represents intoxication, drugs and all. So when you take drugs, then also you lose yourself. So 12th house is basically losses. Okay. Now any planet in the 12th house, that means it is in the bucket of losses. If you want to gain anything from it, you have to make a extra effort to gain that benefit or result from that planet. Suppose I have Sun in the 12th house, regardless of the sign, even if Sun is exalted in the 12th house, then also at least initially in my teenage or in my 20s, I will feel a lack of confidence, a loss of confidence. Okay, I will feel that okay, people are not understanding me, and these people get their confidence when they go far away from their birthplace. Okay. So this is what I am saying, that even if an exalted planet is there in the 12th house, for some time at least the person will feel lots of a sense of loss in that planet related things. So it is basically house of losses, and if you want to gain anything out of it, then put double efforts. You always mention that you need to check Vimshottari Dasha also with Gochar, which shows impact of every planet's transit. In my chart, I am with Capricorn Lagna, Taurus moon sign, and I am going through Jupiter Mahadasha. Which Dasha will impact me more, Mahadasha or Antardasha? Mahadasha planet remains the boss, Antardasha planet remains the employee. Antardasha can... Antardasha planet can do things only what Mahadasha planet allows. Okay. Having said that, Saturn is always bringing some changes, challenges. Okay. So this Jupiter Saturn Dasha can bring some major changes in your life. It is always a good time to go through Jupiter Saturn Antardasha, because although it may bring changes, but eventually these changes will be beneficial for overall life. Okay, whenever person goes through Jupiter Saturn Dasha or Saturn Jupiter Dasha, it brings some changes, but those changes are very good for overall life for long term, because these are two furthest away planets, Jupiter and Saturn. Okay, so they are controlling all other planets under their orbit. So that's why this is always a good time. I started my astrology related work in Jupiter Saturn Dasha after leaving my job. Are you coughing? Are you okay? I am very fine, thank you. Saturn in Aquarius looking at Rahu in Scorpio. Okay. Will Saturn delay the results of Rahu? If so, till what age? Saturn Rahu combination of energy exchange of any nature, either aspect or conjunction. Rahu gravitates us towards something, Saturn blocks the way. Okay, Saturn puts the delay factor. So end result is frustration. Okay, the person wants to achieve something very quickly, but Saturn is putting the blocks and he has to put hard work with perseverance. So the tug of war continues, that okay, I want to get that thing, but there are so many obstacles in the way. Only way is to like bow down to Saturn. You have no other option but to bow down to Saturn and fine, accept that I have to like work hard towards something, then only I will get the result. The time factor, again, if you are doing something related with your chart, you are on your right path, then things can be easier. Then you may start getting results once you cross the 30s. Okay, once you enter into 30s actually. So between 30 to 35 you will start getting the result. But if someone is not in if someone is not in right path, okay, if someone is not doing what he is supposed to do, then he will always face the struggle. Then he will feel that okay, planets are stopping me, planets are against me. Planets are not against you, you are against yourself. Planets are trying to guide you this side, you are going this side. Okay, so that is always the case. So if this person is in the right path, then things can be easier with time from the 30s onwards. But if the person is not on right path, not doing what he is supposed to do, then things can be difficult. Because again, by giving those difficulty, planets are again indicating that you are doing something wrong, you should change your path. What is your view on Navamsha and the Shamsha chart? How should we use it to analyze it? My views are always different in matters of D9, D10 and all. Okay. So what happens is that D9, just a second. Right. D9 chart is normally seen for marriage related matters, the relationship and all, but I like to see it for someone's right life path. What is person's right life path should be seen from D9 chart, because D9 itself is coming from this 9th house of your D1 chart. 9th house is your highest of the dharma house. It shows your dharmic path in life. So a chart which is coming out of 9th house of D1 chart should show your dharmic path or right life path, rather than a social institution like marriage. Okay, marriage anyways has no connection with astrology. Marriage as an institution. Okay, so that part of life should not even be considered in astrology. Okay, that is completely your social institution. Okay, so D9 is the chart of right life path. I will look at first house of D9, first house Lord position of D9, the ninth house Lord position. If there are planets in first house and ninth house, those are also important. Likewise, D10 is normally seen for your job related matters, job change related matters, but D10 is the chart of your right karma in life. What right karma you should do. Again the same logic. D10 is coming out of 10th house of your D1 chart. 10th house is your duty and responsibility, what you are supposed to do in this life. Likewise, D10 shows what you are supposed to do in this life. So again the same rules. First house lord position, 10th house lord position. If you want to take Atmakarka, Matkarka, then also it is fine, but first and 10th house and their lords and any planet in first and 10th house of D10 chart are enough to indicate. Again I would say that first exhaustively look at your D1 chart, then come to D9 and D10 chart. Don't just jump into D9 and D10. First look at D1 and then come to D9 and D10. Okay. For me, the purpose of divisional charts is for confirmation. Whatever I see from D1 chart, it should be confirmed from D9 and D10 charts. Okay. And it will be confirmed, as D1 remains the mother of all charts and all other charts are coming out of D9 and D10. Sorry, all other divisional charts are coming out of D1. It can never happen that D9 is showing some other picture and D10 is showing some other picture than D1 chart. It is never the case. Okay. So first exhaustively read your D1 chart, then come into D9 and D10. Your guidance always help. Surely will try to meet you personally anytime, sir. I am happy to help. When thinking about Mahadasha, Antardasha, Pratyantardasha, and at the same time also transiting planets, how can one decide which planetary effect is more important, especially for me, since my moon is in Anuradha Nakshatra and my ascendant is Pushya. I feel that may be ruled by Saturn. I should forget about other planets and only focus on Saturn. With Saturn, we are always under the impact of Saturn. With Saturn, it is not necessary that you should go through its dasha. Understand what I am trying to say? Saturn is time. Okay. The time we are passing here, the time we are living here in this incarnation is Saturn. Okay, so if you are alive, you are under Saturn's impact. So Saturn is anyways important for everyone, not only for you, for everyone. But in this Mahadasha Antardasha thing, the Mahadasha planet and its transits are most important. Then comes the Antardasha planet and its transits. Like I am under Jupiter Venus Dasha, Jupiter's transit is important and Venus transit is important. These two are most important. I am not saying that other transits are not important. This is where we have to be careful. Like mind always shifts to the next pole, the opposite pole. If I say that this is more important, then my mind automatically decides that okay, this is not important. I am not saying that. That is also important, but your dasha planets transits are more important. After that, you can consider all other transits. You should always consider transits of longer durations. Okay, like Saturn, Rahu, Ketu, and Jupiter. Regardless of you are under their dasha or not, you should always consider, because they are going to remain in one sign for a very long period, from 1 year to 2.5 years. Jupiter is for 1 year, Saturn is for 2.5 years, Rahu Ketu are for 1.5 years. So you will always be under the impact of these planets. They will catch you one day or the other in this time period. Okay, so that is why we should always take in consideration longer duration planetary transit. Okay, Then comes the smaller transits like Venus, Mercury, Sun, Moon, Mars. Even in these planetary transits, like with Venus or Mars or Mercury, whenever they go in retrograde, okay, when they go retrograde, they stay in one sign for about 5 months. Okay, 3 to 5 months. That is also a very potential time period. That is big enough window for an event to take place. So also look at like when you are trying to predict any event, look at your dasha planets transit, then all the longer duration transits, and then look in this time period if any other planet is going retrograde also. Okay, that is always helpful. Okay, so everything is in addition. We cannot say that this is more important, this is less important, or this is not important. Everything is important. I know it confuses us because it is lot of information. We have to look at a lot of things all together, but when we are doing regularly, like an astrologer does, he gets used to. Okay, he should get used to. Rahu in Aries, Saturn in Libra, Mars in Capricorn. As Saturn is looking at Rahu, also Mars is also looking at its sign. Can Rahu give its result before 30, as its Lord Mars is also looking at it? Again, it depends on the person, if he is doing something related with that chart. Okay, every I again and again come back to this thing, that if you are doing something related with your chart, okay, your chart is showing this direction, you are going into this direction, then planets cannot help you. Then planets will only create obstacles, because they are trying to take you back on the right path. Okay, and that is what I always feel like. I always give my own example, that I was working in corporate world for the first 4 years of my Jupiter Dasha. Things were not working out because I was not supposed to work there. So like there was lots of stress issues with authority figures and all that. So these issues were there. Again, these issues were trying to indicate me that I am doing something wrong. I should be in this profession of guiding and counseling people astrologically, rather than sitting in corporate world. Okay, so that is what I am trying to say. If this person is already on his right life path, what he should be doing, then things can be better. Okay, then things can even be better in his 20s only. But if he is not following the right life path, which 99% of us are not doing, okay, 99% of us are following a wrong life path, because of our social conditioning, because of the things we are told from our childhood. Understand, the first learning, first lesson we get from our society, from our parents, from our schools, colleges, teachers, from our colleagues, friends, that if you don't have a job, how you will survive in this world. So it automatically takes us in the job setup mindset. And once you are gone there, it is difficult to accept that I am doing something wrong, because I am doing whatever is told to me from everyone in my life. How I can be wrong? It takes it goes on to the ego of the person, right? So this is where the biggest difficulty comes, in realizing that actually I am doing something wrong. With this person also, like Rahu in Aries, Rahu is where we gravitate towards. Aries is the sign of individuality. This person should work for himself individually. Saturn in Libra, exalted. Why Saturn is exalted in Libra? Saturn is service to the people, and Libra is the sign of masses and business. So this person should be in the business. Aries Lord Mars is in Capricorn, exalted. Again, Mars will function well when this person is working for himself. So if this person is not in business, then regardless of his age, he will have difficulties. And if this person is in business, then also regardless of the age, he will still have better results of life. What sort of jobs will suit in Libra Lagna native? If his 10th Lord Moon Pushya and second and 7th Lord Mars are placed in the 10th house, okay, aspected by Rahu from 6th house, his Vishti Karana Lord Saturn is placed in Ashwini Nakshatra, right? So first of all, as I always say, like career determination takes a long analysis. The steps which I follow, I can tell you that you can look at this chart. Ascendant Lord, planets in ascendant, then ascendant nakshatra and ascendant nakshatra Lord, then second house Lord, 11th house Lord, 10th house Lord, Rahu position, Bhrigu Bindu, Atmakarka Matyakarka, Mahadasha Antardasha, then like 9 steps are there, then we can find out someone's career. Okay, so this much information is, like, I am sorry to say, but it is not enough. Second thing, Libra Lagna. Lagna is your life path. And Libra is the sign of business. Libra is the natural 7th sign, has the energy of 7th house. The first thing is that this person should be in his own business. Okay. Then 10th Lord Moon is in the 10th house Cancer only, and along with Mars, which is 2nd and 7th. Mars ruling 2nd and 7th means the wealth is coming through business. And it is also giving the authority recognition. Although Mars is debilitated, but it is getting Neech Bhang Raj Yoga from this Moon's position. Moon Mars in Cancer can bring lots of emotional issues to the person himself, or he can help people in sorting out emotional issues. That means psychology. Okay. Moon in Pushya Nakshatra and Mars in Ashlesha Nakshatra can make this person interested in psychology. Then Rahu is in the 6th house. Rahu is one which gravitates towards us, which makes us gravitate towards the house where it is sitting. 6th house is healing and healthcare. He may be interested. And then Saturn is placed in Ashwini Nakshatra, that is 7th house. So again, it shows that person, Saturn is your duty and responsibility. It is in Aries sign, it is debilitated. Plus it is in the 7th house of business. So another thing is that maybe this person can be very fearful of starting his own business. Okay, especially in early life. He may have no inclination towards business. Business can be a very fearful idea for this person, but eventually, because Saturn is again in Ashwini Nakshatra, which is the nakshatra of metaphysical healers. So from this information which I am getting, this person can be a very good healer, especially if he is interested in psychology. Okay, he can be a very good psychiatrist with Moon Mars in Pushya and Ashlesha Nakshatra. This is what I see. Let's hope that this person finds the right path. One more question. Dashas are based on planet and sign. Okay, but how can we use nakshatra for prediction as well? Should nakshatras be thought as different astrology system than house or sign? It is not like that. Whenever we are considering a planet in its dasha, we are also considering the nakshatra where it is placed in, or nakshatra where other planets are there in this planet's nakshatra. Like we discussed, as we have as I have replied the earlier question, I have considered Pushya, Ashlesha, Ashwini. Okay, these planets are in this nakshatra. So in their dasha also, like in that chart, moon is in Pushya nakshatra. If this person goes through moon dasha, he can be interested in activities related with Pushya nature, which is about nourishing and taking care of people. If this person goes through Mars dasha, then he can be interested in Ashlesha related activities, which are about like getting into any kind of spiritual activities, like Ashlesha is shows our emotional insecurities, so it can bring emotional insecurities to the person himself. But as I said, he can be more inclined towards helping people in their emotional issues also. So that is also one of the indication. So this is what I am trying to say, that yeah, and when we are considering a planet, the nakshatra is automatically is coming with the planet. Okay, so we consider nakshatra along with that. Okay, is any further question? Okay, I think we are done. Thank you for joining and asking question. Okay, I think we are done. Take care. Enjoy your rest of the Sunday and stay safe. Okay, bye.